Hello everyone, welcome to ARC Reflection IAS Academy. This session is about the discussion of UPSC 2025 prelims paper exclusively with respect to the economy subject. In this, we are going to take a detailed discussion of all the economy related topics which have been asked in today's examination. So considering this, I'll take the first question. The first question is talking about, with reference to investments, consider the following statements. He has given the four options here and he's talking about how many of the above are treated as an alternative investment funds. See, there are few questions which are directly asked from the class notes directly, and if you could read and revise the questions, that is like investments, infrastructure, banking, fiscal policy, agriculture chapter. So these are the few things he has concentrated, and they are around 15 to 18 questions have been asked in this. Okay, so based on this, one among them is alternative investment funds. This is not for everyone. This is for those high influential or the people who are in a position to make a heavy pooling of money. That is the private or the foreign portfolios which can be attracted to make large scale money and providing them large scale interest rates. So this can be absorbed alternatives to bonds and shares. This was clearly discussed. So it cannot be attracted into the bonds, it cannot be attracted into the shares and hence into the stocks, and hence if you could consider, then bonds has to be eliminated, stocks has to be eliminated, then only left is hedge funds and venture capital. So what could be the probable answers? Could be hedge funds, okay, could be venture capitals, okay, or could be any sort of sectors if you want to attract a large pool of money, or any sort of sector, example real estates. So there the alternative investments funds can be attracted, and hence in this only two shall be the right one. Next one, which of the following are the sources of income for the Reserve Bank of India? It says from which sources the Reserve Bank is earning. Reserve Bank is the apex institution which has wide applications or wide entities from where it can earn good source of income. The first among them will be buying and selling of the government securities, upon which it will earn considerable interest rates. So here if we could consider, so the statement talks that buying and selling of the government related securities. So one is definitely true here. Second one, buying and selling foreign currency. Buying and selling foreign currency, that means whenever there is a concept of devaluation, in the concept of devaluation, the rupee gets weaker and the foreign currency gets costlier, or it will be highlighted. In such cases, there is large scale chances that the government or the RBI in particular, okay, can earn the extra money from this. So this will definitely add an income to the RBI. Next one, pension fund management, definitely it will not be under the RBI. Lending to private companies, this will not be under the RBI. Provisionally, that lending to the private companies purview completely falls in the origin of the government. Next, printing and distributing. Printing of currency notes is being done by RBI. Second important, distribution of currency notes is also done by RBI. So on such printing of any of the currency, RBI definitely earns considerable paisa. That means printing and distribution of currency definitely should be the answer, and it has to be 1, 2 and 5. Next, with reference to the government of India, this is very simple. Here he has given few of the organization or the departments. On the other side, he is talking about what are its responsibilities and it comes under which of the following ministry. In such cases, simple, Directorate Enforcement, that is enforcement department, will not come into the Home Ministry, rather the enforcement department will directly come into the Finance Ministry itself, and hence all the three of them comes under Finance Ministry. So it cannot be all, it cannot be none also, that is only two are correct, that is Directorate of Revenue Intelligence and Directorate of General Systems and Data Management. Consider the following statements. This is also talking about RBI, but it is not particularly about the Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank of India mandates all the listed companies. See, there is a concept of PDs, primary dealers, which I have taught you in the class. Primary dealers are those which will deal in the interaction of the primary market and into the secondary market. In that, we have also discussed about IPOs, FPOs, etc. In that, we also discuss about what are listed companies, what are unlisted companies. Those companies whose IPOs are being sold, then we call them as listed companies. In that topic, I'm not referring listed, unlisted here. I'm talking about the topic which we have discussed. In that topic, here Reserve Bank mandates all the RBI. It is not Reserve Bank, because the nodal agency for regulation of these listed, unlisted will be SEBI. So in that case, RBI should be the wrong answer. Next one, in India, a company submitting this particular report has to disclose in the report that are largely non-financial in nature, which means this report says whichever company has coming forward to disclose things, that particular company will definitely talk not only about the economical terms, but also its ethical values, okay, ethical responsibilities, moral values, moral responsibilities, okay. Another sort of social responsibilities, what are the responsibilities which the company is performing other than the financial. So that was, it says it will definitely disclose to investor. For example, I am the investor, I have to invest, then I should also know what are the other ethical things which the company is performing, moral and social responsibility companies perform. So in India, a company submitting this report makes disclosure in the report that are largely non-financial in nature. So what are the list I have given you? Those everything is non-financial nature. So answer has to be 2. Next, consider the following statements. In India, income from allied agriculture activities like poultry farming, wool rearing in rural areas is exempted from any tax. I have discussed in the classes while teaching agriculture produce marketing committee, while teaching e-mandi system. So in that cases, if you could look at there it was clearly evident that I have told you anything with respect to the marketing activity, anything which is respect to the marketing activity which does not involve the government directly, then that will be taxable. So if a farmer enters mandi with the agricultural produce, or if it's performing any allied activities, then that is the outside the domicile of the government, then definitely it is called as a commercial activity. On such commercial activity, the taxes will be charged, but he's saying exempted from tax. So this is wrong statement. Second one, in India, rural agricultural land is not considered a capital asset under the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961, which means he's indirectly talking about, he's clearly talking about the capital gain tax. That means any sort of transactions, if that is happening, such transactions with respect to one person to other person, if there is a gain in the transaction of the land, then it will automatically acquire gain tax, that is capital gain tax. So for the rural lands, that is in India, rural agricultural lands particularly is not considered as a capital asset, and provisions of Income Tax Act mean there is no provision of the taxes which is being levied on this, considering only the capital gain tax. So this is true. So it is not considered, definitely it is not considered. So here statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is correct. So it has to be statement 1 is not correct, but statement 2 is correct. So answer has to be D. Next one, consider the following statement. India has joined the Minerals Security Partnership as a member. That is true. In June, okay, we have been reading this in news since June 2023. There is a large scale news about India joining as a member. So India joined the Minerals Security Partnership as a member. This is true. Second one, this is true. Second one, India is a resource rich country. Definitely India is a resource rich country, and along with this mineral security partnership, it has identified 30 critical minerals. It has identified 30 critical minerals. That means it is talking about all the 30 critical minerals. Is it rich in all the 30 critical minerals? No, definitely it is not. So when you eliminate this two statement, it has to be 1 and 3. Next, consider the following statement. Statement number 1. As regards returns from an investment in a company, generally bondholders are considered to be relatively at a lower risk. I have told hundreds of times in the classroom while discussing about the stock market, okay, capital market and money market, bonds are very much safe. People who invest in the bonds, they will be first in the priority list. Second one, they are risk free. They are free of all the risk. So as regards returns, that means what are the returns I am getting, an investment in a company, generally bondholders are considered to be related lower risk, because share market itself is risk, but comparatively bonds will have a lower risk. So this statement is true. Next one, bondholders are lenders to the company. Obviously they are the one who are giving credit to the company, whereas stockholders are owners, because stockholders equities, they will give the ownership, bondholders, they are creditors. Statement 2 is also correct. Statement 3, for repayment purpose, bondholders are prioritized over stockholder by a company. I told you they are risk free, they are secure, in a preference list they are being considered as a first one. So obviously third is also correct. Which one of the following is correct? So if you look at the statements, both statement 2 and 3 are correct, and both of them will explain statement 1, because statement 1 is talking about risk, the risk factor which is quite low. This is one beautiful question which was framed by UPSC, explaining the entire relation about the bonds, stakes, etc. Next, consider the following statement. India accounts for a very large portion of all equity options contracts traded globally, thus exhibiting a great boom. Remember, this we have discussed in the current affairs classes, that Raghuram Rajan, okay, the former RBI governor, he stated that India's global, that is the share market, India's share market is booming, and it is like an hollow, that all perfect measures needs to be taken, so that we never know this vacuum or the hollow balloon which is there, when it can burst. So take lot of measures to ensure there is a safety for the investors. In that scenario, it is also told that India is overtaking lot of countries. One among them is Hong Kong. This is 100% true, because the statement 2 itself says it is overtaking Hong Kong. So 2 has to be correct, and 2 is there in 3 statements. India accounts for a very large portion of all equity options contracted traded, thus exhibiting a great boom. Obviously, first statement is also correct. Next, there is no regulatory body. Even of the tiny of the investments which you make, there is a regulatory body which is SEBI, or few of the things will be directly controlled by the RBI. That means there is no regulatory body for the small investors. No, there is a regulatory body. So when you eliminate 3 also, you are getting the right answer for this. Next, linear economy I have taught in the classes. This is a direct question from the class. Linear economy I have taught in the class. Circular economy I have taught in the class. Biocircular economy. 3 things I have taught you in the classes. Among them, circular economy means what? Producer extended responsibility, which means producer is producing goods which will be consumed by the consumer. Once the consumption happen, it will again go back to the producer. He can use such kind of essentials which will have some shelf life and can utilize for them reproduction purpose. What will happen here? Global emissions will come down. Usage of the resources very efficiently can be done. In such cases, take this statement, circular economy reduces the emissions. Obviously, I told you it will definitely reduce the emissions. Next, circular economy reduces the use of raw material as inputs. Obviously, it will reduce the usage of extra usages. Overproduction will not happen. Third one, circular economy reduces the wastages. Obviously, it is reducing the wastages because you are using the goods very effectively. So 3 statements are quite correct. Here you can say both statements 2 and 3 are correct, and both of them will explain 1, because it will production indirectly, directly it is related to production. So emission of the greenhouse gases will come down. Next, very important question. This is part of the fiscal policy chapter. Hundreds of times we have discussed this topics, hundreds of times I have raised this question. Among them, if you look at the question, it is talking about entire the annual financial statement chart. Here he says, capital receipts create a liability. Obviously, capital receipts means something which I am borrowing. If I borrow, obviously I have to repay. So that will create a liability. That means it will, when I am borrowing, my assets will also reduce in terms of gold, bond, shares, or my land papers I have to deposit. In such cases, definitely my shares or assets which are there with me in my pocket, it will reduce. So obviously, statement 1 has to be correct. Borrowing and disinvestments are capital receipts. Obviously, when I borrow or I am making any sort of disinvestments, it will automatically make an capital receipts. Next, interest received on loans creates a liability on the government. How can interest I am receiving, does it create a liability? Means I am bound to pay you back. So that means I am receiving interest. That means I have given loan. Someone is liable to pay me. So when someone is liable to pay me, it is not liability on the government. So statement 3 is wrong. So obviously 1 and 2 are perfectly correct, and this is the question which you should know when we have discussed in the classes. Next, suppose the statement here, this is very simple question, provided if you know the formula for FD, what we have discussed in the class, revenue deficit and primary deficit. If you are aware of this, then definitely this is a very simple question for you. Suppose the revenue expenditures. So he's talking about revenue expenditures. He's saying revenue expenditures are 80,000 crores and revenue receipts are 60,000 crores. The government budget also shows the borrowing of 10,000 crores. Always I told you borrowings is nothing but FD, 10,000 crores. So, and the interest payments is 6,000 crores. So, how much is the interest you are going to pay? Is 6,000 crore. Which of the following statements are correct? Revenue deficit. How will you calculate revenue deficit? RE minus RR. 80 minus 60 will be 20,000 crores. Next, fiscal deficit. Obviously, I told you fiscal deficit is nothing but the borrowings. So, borrowings are 10,000 crores. This is correct. Primary deficit is 4,000 crores. How will you calculate primary deficit? PD is equal to FD minus IR, interest payments. So, 10,000 minus 6,000 will become 4,000. So, all the three statements are very much correct. Next, a country with a fiscal deficit stands at 50,000 crores. So, there is one more question. Fiscal deficit stands at 60,000 crores. That means fiscal policy chapter, you have got 4 questions together. So, the country which has 50,000 crores, and it's receiving 10,000 crores through NDCR, non-debt capital receipts, it is receiving 10,000 crores. And the country interest liabilities are 1,500 crores. Country's interest liabilities are 1,500 crores. Very simple question. Look at what he is saying. He is talking about PD again, primary deficit. That is only FD minus interest rates. He has, just to confuse you, he has given NDCR which is 10,000 crores, which is nothing related. So, non-debt capital receipts means without any loans, okay, that is your disinvestments or your own paisa which you are getting it is nowhere related to the loans. So, FD minus IR 50,000 minus 1,500 which will become 48,500. This should be the right answer. Just if you remember the formula, it is very easy for you to understand this. Which of the following statements with regard to the recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission? This is one of the favorite topic of the students. We have discussed so many times about 15th Finance Commission. I will show you only one option you need to eliminate here. The option is option number 2. You all know how much has the Finance Commission has recommended. Does it recommended 45%? No, it has recommended just 41% to the states and 1% to the UTs, that is the Jammu and Ladakh. So you eliminate second option. You are getting one answer. Remaining 2 answers, 2 options are also quite true. Alright, 77th question we'll see now. Consider the following statement in respect to IBRD and IDA, that is International Development Agency and International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, both are related to the World Bank institution. World Bank group means 5 institutions, World Bank means 2 institutions. First among them is IBRD. He is saying it provides loans and guarantees to middle income group. Perfect. It will definitely provide loans and guarantees to middle income group. Next, it works single-handedly. Does it work single-handedly? Definitely no, because there is one more institution associated to reduce poverty, hunger, girl child enrollments, women empowerment, okay, like environmental, global climate, like climatic issues, climate change. So there are few more institutions also which are working. It is not single-handedly, because IBRD take care of few subjects and IDA will take care of other subjects. International development agencies will take care of other subjects, providing credits to reduce poverty. So here we can say it is not the single institution. So you eliminate 2. It is so easy. You can answer it because it was established by Help Europe, built after World War II. Obviously, this is a statement which we discuss in the class. It's a very simple one. Next one. It is about RTGS and NEFT. So we will also eliminate few things here. In RTGS, the settlement time is instantaneous, while in the case of NEFT, it takes some time to settle payments. Next one, in RTGS, the customer is charged for inward or outward. It is not for inward, it is for outward. So you have to eliminate second option. Next one, operating hours for RTGS are restricted. No, it is not restricted. Okay, while it is not true for it. First of all, it is not restricted at all. So when it is not restricted, so 3 will also be wrong. So option has to be 1 because it is not inward. Second one, operating hours for RTGS are restricted. No, it is not restricted. So in both the cases, if you eliminate, option has to be 1. Next, consider the following countries: UAE, France, Germany, Singapore and Bangladesh. So in that, he is talking about which of the following other than India where international merchant payments are accepted. International merchant payments, this is very simple question. UAE has been accepting, this was widely in news. France also accepts and Singapore also accepts. So these 3 countries will accept this statement. Consider the following statement with respect to PM Surya Ghar Bijli Muft Bijli Yojana. I am very sure most of the students which have eliminated these questions considering the basic things like the numerology or numbers which are associated, and this time it is not supporting. That means it targets installation of 1 crore. This was there in budget. We have written in our class about the 1 crore data for solar rooftops panels in the residential sector. Next, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Obviously, this is a ministry which is involved in this for maintenance, repairs of solar roof system at the grassroots levels. True. It aims to create more than 3 lakhs. Now people will get doubt. Yes, this is from the general procedures. If you look at in the PIB, they have given these statements that it aims to create more than 3 lakh skilled manpower through fresh skilling and upskilling. Definitely true. So all the 3 statements with respect to these is quite correct. Alright, so these are the questions which we have discussed. So most of the questions are interrelated to the current affairs. So that's the reason you should make sure that you should revise your notes, class notes first, read basic books like NCERTs and also religiously follow the newspapers. Then it was quite easy, and having a basic understanding in economy will definitely help you to clear this exam. That to particular I'm talking about economy and prelims. In prelims, see, almost 15 questions we have discussed. So you might easily get 25 to 30 marks. That has been repeated by me many of the times. All right. So take care. Thank you.